Hi everyone, it's Az here from HeelvsBabyface. Now, since I moved into the realm of pop culture, obviously I've been fighting for franchises which I've absolutely loved and have really had a special place in my heart over the course of the last couple of years. I mean, that's just when I started to move into the pop culture sphere. Franchises like Star Wars, Star Trek, Doctor Who, just to name three, and those three are kind of big ones because to me they're the big three which have just been overrun by ideology. They're the three which have been twisted and perverted the most, that are unrecognizable to what they used to stand for, and certainly in the case of Doctor Who and Star Trek right now, and for the most part Star Wars, because that has lost a considerable amount of its audience. These are becoming dead franchises. Nobody's interested in Star Trek. It's so funny to listen to the ideologues scream, but this Star Trek's never been more popular. There's 5 Star Trek shows on at the moment. Yeah, and barely any of them have any reach whatsoever. Barely any of them are actually on a network. They're on a streaming service that they can't even hit top spot on, and they're getting beaten by shows like SpongeBob SquarePants and NCIS Repeats. Because nobody's actually interested in them. They don't get foreign distribution compared to how they used to. And Doctor Who, the BBC have actually had to hand the reins over to a third-party company in Bad Wolf that just got bought out by Sony. So in essence, the BBC have handed Doctor Who over to Sony in what is a Hail Mary to keep this franchise alive. Because if this fails, and Russell T Davis's second stint is a failure, then that is done, dead. And this one used to be one of the BBC's biggest exports, biggest revenue generators outside of the UK. Nobody cares anymore. Nobody cares. And Star Wars split down the middle with their programming, split because of the treatment of people like Gina Carano, a strong independent woman in its truest sense of the word, the actual ideal of what they're looking for, that they fired because she was a bit too strong and a bit too independent, because they're not looking for that. They're looking for women from all different ethnicities that have the same exact ideological values. They're not looking for the biggest and most important aspect of diversity, which is diversity of thought. They want everybody to think the same, act the same, but they want them to have different skin colors and different sexual orientations and be male and female and identify as God knows fucking what, because mental illness is a thing now. But right down to its core, they must all agree ideologically. And then they parade them. They parade them like trophies to the world. Look how incredibly diverse we are. You're a company. You're not an ideology. You're a company. Serve your customers. But they don't. They serve their ideology. And there are many more companies that are dead in the water now. DC, Marvel Comics, they're pretty much dead in the water. Other franchises are starting to embrace the big lie, the big inclusion and diversity lie, because it's not about inclusivity and diversity. It's about exclusivity and conforming to the narrative. It's the big lie. Now, if any of you saw Friday Night Tights last week, some people had released some of these excerpts from Reimagine Tomorrow from the Walt Disney Company, where voices would be heard. And I tell you what, if you heard these voices and you were a parent, you would fear for your children. I'm British, New Zealand, if you're part of the joke. I'm British, and even I read the section of the Florida bill that said sexuality. It didn't say, don't say gay. It talked about not talking about sexuality to 5-year-old to 8-year-old children. Why would you want to? What possible reason could there be for you to want to discuss sexuality, gender identity with a 5 to 8-year-old? When you're 5 to 8 years old, you got snot coming down your nose. You need your parents to get rid of it for you. And even then you're putting up a fight because you're too busy wanting to play with your cars, or your Duplo, or your Playmobil, or watching some cartoon on the screen that you don't know what's going on, but it's funny because the stupid rabbit's running away from the stupid thing, and the stupid thing's trying to get the rabbit, but the rabbit keeps blowing up the stupid thing. You think a 5 to 8-year-old has the mental capacity to deal with it? Of course it hasn't. It's called fucking grooming. It's called grooming. Will you try and mold a mind, a vulnerable mind? And children are the most vulnerable. That's why as adults, you have to be responsible. You have to protect them. Because kids will do anything to impress. Because they want that acceptance. They want that validation from people in responsible positions. And if those people in responsible positions are abusing those responsibilities, then that is a sickness, Why do we have sex ed around the ages of 11 to 13? Why does sex ed come then and not before? Because those are the ages that the body starts to develop and go through puberty, starts its early stages of those developments. And so when the body starts to develop, that's when it's time for the mind to develop alongside of it. That's why it's always been around that age. To develop your mental capacity alongside the physical changes that you will go through. To help you understand the physical changes that you will go through and why they are happening and what this means for your body and for your reproductive system. Why the hell would you want to do and talk about that to a 5 to 8-year-old? There's something wrong with you here. And this is about every sexuality. Whether it be homosexuality or heterosexuality. If you try and force that onto a child, a kid who cannot comprehend it, then you are a predator. You are an abuser. You are a huge problem, and you need removing. And yet, it's so flagrantly being twisted and perverted for an agenda. Why? Why would you want to do that? I don't know. Well, I mean, I do know. And that's the scary aspect of it. Now, Bob Chapek, a couple of weeks back, Bob Chapek said, hey, look, we just want to stay out of this. You know, we're just here to serve the customer. He's a money man. I mean, a tight ass, but whatever. That's by the by. He's a money guy. He's a businessman. That's what he's there for, to make money for the company. Now, you can agree or disagree in the manner that he does it. That's by the by. But that's his purpose. And of course, when he said that, and he didn't take a side, or he did technically take a side, he took the side of business, which is what a corporation should do. Because that's what you're there for. A corporation isn't there to be political. He got absolutely railroaded. Railroaded. And then suddenly, this is a tweet from a guy called Christopher Rufo. I haven't personally heard of his guy, but this tweet is spot on. Disney CEO Bob Chapek grovels, apologizes, and pledges to be a better ally for the alphabet community. He delegated the company's moral authority to the Alphabet Advisory Council, and now those internal activists have taken him as an ideological hostage. This plays like a bloody hostage video. He's reading gingerly from an auto cue, and his language is so specific. He's had this speech written for him very carefully and cautiously indeed. Let's just listen to.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. I really appreciate you taking time out of your day for this very important session.
No, you don't care.
By now, I hope you've all read my most recent note, in which I pledge to be a better ally for the LGBTQ.
I pledge to be a better ally for the alphabet community. What the f does that mean? Well, it basically means you're an ideological hostage. Conform or be destroyed. The authoritarian left, this is how they operate. This isn't a compassionate political stance. This is a railroad. You either agree with us or you're the enemy. It's as simple as that. And what's even worse is you have to take a side. You can't Switzerland yourself. You can't say I'm neutral on this. No. You have to take a side, and you have to take their side. Otherwise, it's destruction. Destruction time for you.
Plus community. Apologize for not being the ally that you needed me to be.
What? Apologize for not being the ally that you needed me to be. I apologize for doing my job as a CEO, which is where my first loyalty lies to the company and making money for the company. But no, that's not allowed. You're not allowed for that. No, you have to ideologically align yourself with people who are purposely misinterpreting something to once again play fucking victim. Is it any wonder that the authoritarian left, because that's what I'm going to bunch them with, is losing respect, losing support, and being challenged more and more and more? It's not remotely surprising to me, because these people are making absolutely insane demands, and they're getting away with it because people are too scared and too cowardly to say no. Do you know who did say no? Gina Carano. She said no, and then everything that she said got twisted and perverted, and she was disgustingly sacked, or didn't have a contract renewed, whichever way you want to phrase it. But Disney went out on Twitter and said the most vile things about her. And you can tell that the person that did that was some ideologically aligned pissant like Chapek is bowing down to right now. Like a groveling toad. Because he doesn't have the balls and the spine to say no. Gina Carano, she's got more fucking balls than anyone in Hollywood. Virtually anyone in Hollywood. Whereas these spineless cowards capitulate and capitulate And when they capitulate, they empower these people even more.
And committed to ensuring that our company lives up to its values.
What values? What values? Your employees who've just been arrested for child trafficking. Was that addressed? Where's that been? You didn't seem to address that. That got swept under the carpet real damn quick. Your values of what? Not reading, comprehending, and understanding a bill? Your values of what? Allowing people to be predators towards children? Because that's what it sounds like your values stand for right now.
I meant every word. And that's what we're here to talk about today.
No, you didn't mean every word. That is an absolute lie by Chapek, because you said, I'm keeping out of this. Disney's about business. I'm not taking a stance. And then you got railroaded, and then you changed your mind. So you don't believe what you're saying here. You're being forced to say what you're saying here because you've got a gun pointed at your head because you're an ideological hostage, like the tweet says. And you are now bowing down to their demands because you don't want your career and your life to be destroyed by them, which is what they will do. It is what they will attempt to do, and you know it. And you're too much of a coward to fight back, and you're too much of a coward to say no, and you're too much of a coward to set an example to the rest of your company. That's why they're outside of Disney right now, screaming boycott Disney. By the way, in numbers that vastly outweighed the 3 people that walked out on a Disney lunchtime a couple of weeks or so back for a misinterpreted bill, purposely misinterpreted bill. You're a liar. They've made you a liar and a coward, which, in all fairness, are traits which you must possess to capitulate to. So they knew exactly where to hit you, probably in the ego, in the vanity.
I know that we've got work to do, and that work starts with listening.
Listen, yeah.
I'm glad the company
Shut
will
up and
hear
listen.
from today's panel of LGBTQ plus employees.
And we know what they said. Lock up your children, people. Lock up your children.
And I hope that you are as impacted as I've been by the
we were
voices
impacted, all right. Probably
that
not
I've
in the
heard
way
over
that
the
you
past
think,
few
Bob, but
weeks.
okay.
I've read many emails that have been sent.
These PR
spoken
people
with
have.
LGBTQ plus employees and their allies, met with advocacy groups, and convened my own leadership team. And
all done since he said, oh, we're keeping out of this. Disney, we're keeping out of this. We're just a corporation. We're keeping out of this. All that's happened since, as you pander to keep your job and grovel and beg so they don't come after you.
Been taken by the honesty, the openness, and the urgency of their stories.
What stories? They're fucking employees. Shut up and do your job. Sell your fucking cuddly toys and your hot dogs and put people on fairground rides and shut up. You're a company. What the fuck is all this feelings business? Oh, I listen to people's fucking feelings. If you can't handle it, get the fuck out. Serve your customers. Not the ideology which is literally putting a noose around your neck.
I want you to know that your words have made a real impact on me. I understand
such an impact,
that we've made
much
mistakes
impact.
and the pain that those mistakes have caused.
And
I know
those
that
mistakes, of doing my fucking job properly.
It wasn't just about the bill in Florida.
The bill in Florida, which you didn't read properly, or you probably did read properly, but you wanted to ignore anyway and twist into an ideological fighting point because the authoritarian left is a deceptive, deceitful, lying, manipulative group of people. Dishonest as the day is long. If I in the UK can take just a few moments of my time to read that, And these people interpret it in a completely different manner. Why is your sexuality the only sexuality that matters? That sounds weird. That doesn't sound inclusive and diverse. No, this has absolutely been twisted and perverted into a victimhood narrative, because when you have a victimhood narrative, everyone doesn't want to be perceived as attacking you, because if they're perceived as attacking you, then you can call them ists and phobes and all this kind of stuff, and that gets them scared and they back away. These people are horrible and disgusting.
But about every time an individual or institution that should have stood
sell
up for
your
this
teddy
community
bears,
did not.
Sell your hot dogs,
I
and
and the
put
leadership
people on your
team are
bloody
determined to
rides.
use this moment as a catalyst for more meaningful and lasting change. We've heard many suggestions on how to do that.
I bet you have.
Working to move quickly.
Oh, actions speak
I
louder
wanna
than
thank
words,
the
I bet.
LGBTQIA plus advisory council,
Advisory-
their allies, and everyone else.
So
who submitted
that's the
ideas.
advisory panel. That's what we're going to listen to. The Alphabet Advisory Panel. We have made them the moral voice on how to proceed. This is crazy talk. Absolute crazy talk.
On how we can take action. I am convening a meeting with all my direct reports and representatives of the advisory council to discuss the thoughtful suggestions that have been made. But we
And
know
if you don't
the
throw them
moment
all in the
requires
bin,
urgency,
there's something
and
wrong with you.
words are not enough. So we are taking some actions right now.
What, are you going to sell some hot dogs, put some people on some rides? Sell some teddy bears? Or are you just going to pander to an ideological Fifi department? Absolutely insane, people. Insane. It's beyond comprehension that this is where we are in current day, where corporations are being turned into ideological tools, and the employees are running the No, let me change that. The lunatics are running the asylum. I hope you enjoyed the vid. If you did, do get a thumbs up, and also subscribe to the channel. Follow me on social media and YouTube for live streaming. Links, they're in the description box down below, and I'll be back with some more stuff very soon. You take care. Bye for now.